Welcome to week 5. This week we'll be exploring the development of language into the school years and on into adulthood. We know that language acquisition occurs from birth through the preschool years and that the development continues, especially in the primary grades. But it also continues into adulthood and perhaps throughout our lives. So we'll be looking at how that process happens when a child enters school, the growth of vocabulary and cognitive development, and how syntax, morphology, and pragmatics advance as the child ages. So you should begin to have a better understanding of semantics, of syntax and morphology, of the metalinguistic development during the school years, and you should make that connection between language, cognition, reading, and writing. You'll also be exploring the roles of the speech and language pathologist. So by the 15th, you're going to be submitting your reflection paper, which we've talked about before, as well as your oral language transcript and MLU analysis. You also want to do your CFU outline. So if we looked at the checklist for this week, you would see that the checklist says each of those things: what is due, what you should be reading, what you should be discussing, and the videos you should be watching. So we'll close that for now and we'll continue. So let's take a look first at the activities and assignments for this week. You have your link to the discussion board, and then it says SEA MLU analysis and outline. So let's take a look at what's in that folder. Here you will submit your transcript. Use this area to submit it, and it should include the morpheme count, the MLU analysis compared to Brown's stages of development. Here you will submit your CFU outline. There is a sample for you to take a look at first. Here you will see an example of an MLU analysis and CFU chart completed. And here you have one website that gives you some helpful do's and don'ts for counting morphemes. But we have additional help as well. So I want you to click on Web Resources. And when you go to Web Resources, click on Course Specific Materials. And then you'll see I've made a new folder called Everything You Need to Know About MLU. Trying to put everything in one place for you. So first, you have the link that will take you to rules for MLU counting. So make sure that you look at that. Then I've given you Brown's rules, which are a little more succinct and maybe easier for you, but then when you have a question, you'll probably have to look at the other portion. I've given you 2 more resource links that are excellent resources for understanding utterance, MLU, and doing the actual accounting. This, I believe, is from our PowerPoint, so it is the slide actually from the PowerPoint, and this might help you as well. So there you have a number of resources that should be handy in one place. Remember, I went to Web Resources, Course Specific Materials, everything you need to know. Okay, so what else do we have? Well, let's go back to activities and assignments. You've got that. You've got your place to do your theory reflection paper. Notice this is going to be submitted to Safe Assign automatically. You don't have to do anything, but if you want to know more about Safe Assign, click here. It's important that you understand the purpose of Safe Assign, and it is not to catch you in plagiarism. It is to keep you, to help you, so that a paraphrase doesn't turn into what is considered plagiarism. So you might take a look at that as well. Okay, so the next important part are reading and resources, and we've got quite a lot for you here. So you should be reading Chapter 6 and Born to Talk. And here are some items that I would like you to take a look at. The first is metalinguistics and the school-age child. This gives you a very good idea of what metalinguistics are and why they are important to the school-age child and the development of language. The next link, I think I've given you before, but I've given you again. Activities to encourage speech and language development, and it takes you through age 6. Now, why have I included the Bureau of Labor Statistics? Remember, one of the things that you're doing this week is exploring the role of the speech language pathologist. So this takes you to the occupational handbook, and I've made your task just a little easier because by clicking on these links and reviewing this area, you can get a really nice overview of this. Now you have a PowerPoint that I would like you to review on the connection amongst language, cognition, reading, and writing. I'm not going to do this with you. I'm going to ask you to do this on your own. And then you have an overview, a PowerPoint of the speech language pathologist job. I also gave you a link to SLP podcasts. And this is every couple of weeks, there is a new podcast having to do with speech, language pathology, and audiology. So if this is something that is interesting to you, you can click on that area. And the next and last link is retention and recruitment of speech language pathologists. And again, this goes back to the American Speech Language. There is a short little video. And if this is an area that interests you, then I suggest you explore that in greater detail. So that is your overview for the week. I hope you are doing well. I know that counting morphemes is not the easiest thing in the world. I know that there are even some discrepancies amongst the rules. Remember what I said though, consistency is important. Also, when you do your transcript, you need to make sure that I see how each line of the conversation, how many morphemes you have calculated. Just don't give me an overall total. You need to do this line by line by line. Remember, I am available to you by clicking on the faculty content area. You've got my email link. You've got my cell phone. Don't hesitate to send me a text if you need to. Don't hesitate to email me. You know that I'll answer you quickly. So you're doing a great job so far. Please keep it up and don't get behind. The course is going quite quickly, as you can see, so you need to stay on task. Take care. Have a great week.